So I did watch Precure. I did watch quite a bit of Precure. But I'm not making a big video about Precure. I'm no longer watching Precure. I haven't been watching Precure for a little while now. Uh, uh, Guys, I'm sorry, but Precure month is cancelled. I'm so sorry to do this to you. No, thank you, Army. Uh, Precure month has been cancelled for a while. I made a community post about it, but it's just occurred to me no one reads community posts, so I should probably make a video about it. Um, So my plan was to watch a bunch of Precure, watch like 5 or 6 episodes a day, which would have probably given me like 3 seasons of Precure by the end of the month, three and a bit. Uh, so I had a bit of leeway if I didn't want to watch Precure some days. Um, and make a typical one of these videos where I just record myself giving my real time thoughts, reaction type, laying around as I'm watching Precure, but not post that video. That video would be just for me as notes, where I would then use that to write a script where I would do a full sort of autobiographical retelling of my experience watching Precure, which I thought was a pretty interesting way to make a video about anime. I've still months into this year trying to figure out a good way, a good format that actually works for me and is interesting to watch, where I can talk about anime. And I think that format is a really good idea. I think it's a really good idea. It's kind of like the laying around watching type videos, but better because it's scripted and thought through and edited and stuff like that. Um, while still having the autobiographical twist that I feel is more appropriate for this channel. I feel like it's more me, you know. Um, but so I'm gonna use that format for something at some point. I will use that format. I will use that idea, but not for Precure. And the reason is because I don't like Precure. It turns out Precure's kind of not for me. I don't know if I want to say it's bad, but it's bad. So the problem with Precure is that I didn't know what I was in for. It's not like the other Mahou Shoujo anime that I've seen. It's way, way more on the tokusatsu side of the spectrum. It's much closer, like much closer to Kamen Rider than it is to Cardcaptor Sakura, for example. Um, just it's very focused on being a tokusatsu show. And I like tokusatsu. I like Kamen Rider. Precure is not even close to as good as Kamen Rider. Okay, Kamen Rider is fucking peak fiction. Kamen Rider is amazing. You should watch Kamen Rider W, by the way. Incredible, incredible shit. Uh, yeah, if I wanted to watch a tokusatsu show, I would watch one of the million Kamen Rider seasons I haven't seen because it's better. Precure is just a bad tokusatsu show aimed at a much younger audience. Um, Kamen Rider does all sorts of really interesting stuff with the tokusatsu premise. It has characters that are well rounded and complex. It has a unique and fleshed out world in a way I don't think I've ever seen in a live action show, like specifically in that way. Like the way that they do the world building in Kamen Rider is really interesting, actually. I could almost do a whole video about that. Um, and the fights are great, but not they don't overstay their welcome. Um, but what's I think the key point about the fights in Kamen Rider, which is what makes a good fight scene in any media, is it's not about the fight. It's about the characters. It's the fights are just a it's like a musical scene in a musical. They're just an expression of what's going on in the internal world of the characters and what's going on in the plot. They're just an expression like a musical scene or a dance scene. Um, they aren't just fights for the sake of having a fight. They represent something deeper about the world, the characters, the story. None of this exists in Precure. Um, I also had heard that Precure has super impressive fight animation. This is not true either. So Precure is not really it's not really a magical girl show. It's more like a bad tokusatsu show with magical girl aesthetics, um, and it's the characters are just super one dimensional. It's a baby show for babies, is basically what I'm saying here. It's written for really really young children, um, in a way that there are lots of kids shows that I like. Well, pretty much every magical girl anime is made for kids. That doesn't mean you have to dumb everything down. Like there are some shows that are technically kids shows, but they're still good. Everyone likes Adventure Time. You know, everyone likes these sorts of things. Um, but most like shonen anime are made for like young teenagers. 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing inherently that means kids shows are bad. And also, I want to point out that like TV for adults in the West is also fucking garbage. You know what? Yesterday, just on a whim, I tried to watch this show just completely arbitrarily because I remembered seeing something about it somewhere. Tried to watch this TV show called The Blacklist. I couldn't make it through the first episode. It's so comically bad. It turns out I haven't watched TV in a long time. I guess I did watch a bit of Severance, but other than that, I haven't watched TV in a while. Um, so like watching not like a high-end prestige drama, but just like regular everyday TV procedural show for the first time in years. Um, Man, like it turns out even the low shit tier seasonal isekais are like a tier above the shit that your normie fucking parents are watching on TV. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy how bad normie TV is. Anyway, that's a tangent. Um, I guess what I mean by that is just because something is made for kids and whatever, that doesn't mean that just something made for kids is bad because there's so much normie garbage TV out there that is way worse. I would rather watch Precure than I would watch The Blacklist. That is a terrible show. But anyway, um, when I say it's made for kids, what I really mean is it's dumbed down for kids. The level of emotional depth the characters have is minimized. The characters tend to be very flat and one note. They tend to have a sort of single personality trait and they don't have real character arcs. Um, Not really. Uh, when they do, they're very, very obvious. They're very, very straightforward. Um, they never have the level of depth in a character that I would expect from a good show. The fights don't mean anything. They don't represent anything about the characters, and they're not particularly. I mean, they're not badly animated, but they're not particularly impressive either. They're pretty much bog standard. And in terms of the creativity of the choreography, I'd say that doesn't interest me. There's nothing very particularly exciting going on with any of the stuff I've seen so far. And they don't ever end in a satisfying way because they have to come back next week, right? So it's sort of like arbitrary bad guy shows. So there's a big bad who controls all of the monster of the week monsters, right? That they fight. The big bad shows up, summons a monster. They fight the monster. It looks like they might lose to the monster a little bit, but never like that much. Never even close to believably. But they have a little bit of trouble defeating the monster, and then they use the special attack. It's like fucking uh in Power Rangers, how like every episode it's like they fight it in the normal form, and then it's like we can't defeat it in the normal form. We gotta make the big form where we all join up together, and now we can defeat it, right? And it's like, why didn't they just do that from the beginning? Why didn't they just use the big form that is the they never win any fights in the normal form. They always win fights in the big form. Why not just use the big form from the beginning? It's the same shit. They have a special attack thing that they can use at any time, but they never use it first. It's silly. Like the fight scenes are they're just dumb. They're literally just they're not good. I'm sorry, they're not like good as fight scenes. Then they defeat the bad guy, but they don't defeat the real bad guy. They defeat the monster that the bad guy summons, and the bad guy just teleports away and shows up again in the next episode, forever and ever and ever. Um, so you never actually, no one's ever making any progress ever. The bad guys are never making any progress because every time they try and do anything, it's instantly defeated by the Precures. And the Precures never make any progress because they don't even know the bad guys exist for most of the show. They're just like, oh, we're fighting these fucking monster dudes, whatever. So the fights never make it. They never progress anything. They never have any character moments. They never are interesting choreographically. Wow, we're using big words. And they're not particularly well animated. There's no cool concepts, and they're extremely repetitive. It's just the same fight every single episode. It's the exact same fight every single episode. Also, the transformation sequences are cool. They're also 2 minutes long, which is too damn long for the same piece of animation in every episode. Come on, it's too much. It's too many minutes of the same repeated transformation sequence. Um, it's cool for the first like 10 episodes, and then it's like, okay, I've seen this 10 fucking times already. Please cut it a bit shorter. Anyway, um, so that's pretty much my problem with Precure. There's no plot. It's very, very repetitive. It's extremely repetitive. It's the same chain every episode. Each episode is divided up into two parts. There's sort of the beginning part, which is the slice of life kind of aspect, and then there's the second half, which is the fighting the big bad kind of guy. They're never connected really in any way. They are sometimes, but it's mostly in terms of setting. It's not like, a good show. It would be like a character. Okay, so you have the characters are in their normal day to day everyday life, right? Um, a good transforming hero show works like this. Characters are in their normal everyday life. They come across some sort of problem, which is ultimately something they need to develop as a character to overcome. I need to learn to share more. Some bullshit like that, right? In a kid's show. This is how it works. Then the character's like, oh no, I have this character problem. I can't learn to share more. I can't do it, right? I'm too hung up on something, right? Then monster comes. That particular character, who was the focus of that episode, plays a vital role in defeating the monster by learning to share more, or whatever the fuck the bullshit, character development thing is. And then at the end of the episode, it's like, wow, we defeated the monster because I grew as a character. And then you get a satisfying connection between the A and B parts of each episode. That shit never fucking happens. It's just two disconnected things that take place in the same setting. There never is any link between the lessons the characters learn out of the action scenes, out of the Precure transformation, and in the Precure transformation. The Precure transformation, they're nothing, they're just completely disconnected. And it's just the same fight every single episode. Um, and there's not really any character growth ever to begin with. The characters pretty much stay the exact same throughout the entire show because they're kind of too perfect. The characters are like already not really flawed. They're already just kind of the best guys. They're already the nicest people and the strongest and the coolest. They don't really have like actual flaws that they need to overcome. They also don't really have like motivations. They have motivations, but they don't like they're always very, very vague and related to the theme of whatever season of Precure it is. Which each season of Precure just sort of has a vague different theme as like an overarching thing. But those themes are never really explored in any sort of depth. And so like normally the way you write a character is that a character has something called wants and needs. So like a character wants to do this, but they need some other thing. And it's like, okay, so the character's going to pursue their want, but in doing so, they will discover their need, right? That's how you normally do character development in a story. Um, I don't know. Let me pick an example. Fucking whatever. Okay, I don't know. Doesn't fucking matter. Um, so I don't know. Just as an example, right? I'm just looking at my wall here. Kirino wants to keep her secret safe and continue to just be an otaku and whatever, right? But she needs to learn to stop being such a bitch and actually connect with the human beings around her and make friends and relationships with them, right? And so in pursuing her want, she ends up achieving her need, right? That's how you write characters. None of that ever happens in Precure ever because characters don't have either. They might have wants, but they don't have those character flaws that would drive them to have needs. None of them have any problems that they need to solve. So yeah, Precure is bad. That's basically what I've come to realize. It doesn't work. It's not got the magical girl stuff that I want. It's not like comfy and cute and sort of laid back and slice of lifey, and it doesn't have like a really nice cast of characters who are very well developed. If you look at, I don't know, fucking Cardcaptor Sakura, right? That has a super iconic cast of characters who are each well rounded, each have flaws and go through journeys and whatever, right? And it's not like Cardcaptor Sakura is my favorite anime of all time, but it's pretty damn good. It also looks amazing the entire time, has incredible music, has unique powers and fight scenes, right? Like the fight scenes in Sakura, they're not just punching the guy, right? There's how is Sakura gonna solve this problem using the cards that she has? Which unique solution is she gonna come up with to counter each bad guy? Okay, that's an interesting idea for a fight. None of that ever happens in Precure. They just punch the guy. They just use the big attack every single time to defeat the guy. You know, so there's no appeal. There's nothing good about it. I'm sorry, it's just not very good. Uh, it doesn't have any of the stuff I want out of a magical girl show, and because of that, I stopped watching it. I dropped Precure in general. I realized this isn't for me. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I break my promise? Because theoretically, I could have kept watching Precure. I could have tanked a month of having zero fun watching anime, and then I could have made a video at the end of the month that was a big critique of Precure, where I said all of this shit, but with specific examples and in more depth and in more detail. I could have done that. It wouldn't. I could have done it. I could have done it. I could have done it. I didn't do it because that'd be fucking miserable. I don't want to have to spend an entire month not doing anything that I like and instead watching anime that I'm not enjoying. That would do is make me miserable. For what? For a video that's gonna get 100 views or whatever. And it's like, I don't care about the views. It's just that like that's not a good trade off. The end product, a big critique of Precure is not that use. Like I'm. There's nothing I'm super interested in doing. I wasn't going in expecting to be like, okay, I'm gonna watch Precure and make a big critique video. That's not what I signed up for. It's not what I wanted. I don't have much desire to make that video. So I didn't do it. I just stopped watching Precure, and a while ago, and now we're doing this. Now we're making this video. So I could have avoided this problem. I should have done this with a show that I knew I would like. That would have been the smart thing to do. So I thought I was pretty certain. My logic going in was, well, Precure must be good because it's pretty much taken a monopoly over the magical girl market. So it must be so good that no one gives a shit about any other magical girl anime because Precure is so good. That's not the case. Precure is just better at selling plastic shit to children. It's just so much better at getting children to buy stupid toys that it has outcompeted the other magical girl shows in profitability. But it's not really better than any of them as a TV show. It's actually worse. It's constantly hammering these fucking little plastic bullshit. It really loves trying to advertise these fucking things to you, which I am just not. I mean, that's just very cynical, and I don't like seeing it. Um, so I could have done. This is the month of Ojamajo Doremi. Now I know that I would like Ojamajo Doremi. I know for a fact that I would like it because I have loads of friends who love that show who have recommended to me on multiple occasions. Like I've seen bits and pieces. I just know I would like it. I know for a fact that I would like Ojamajo Doremi. I should have done watching Ojamajo Doremi for a month. That's what I should have done. It would have been good. I would have probably had way more fun. And I'm pretty sure I would have enjoyed it. Um, but and frankly, there was a point there where I could have just done a switcheroo because I dropped Precure fairly early. I watched Precure for like 5 days or so. Um, Maybe a bit longer. I think I dropped it on day 6. I got pretty far. Anyway, I don't remember the specifics, but I didn't. I dropped Precure fairly early into the month, so I could have just switched it up. There was a point there where I could have been like, I could have worked this into the narrative of the video and been like, well, I'm switching it up to watch Ultraman with me, but I didn't, and now we're here. I didn't do that because I didn't think of it. I just gave up instead. And so I've just been watching random fucking What have I been watching? I've been rewatching shows actually. I've just been going through some shows that I watched a long time ago, giving them second chances and rewatching them. So like I rewatched Slow Start. I did not like that show when I watched it the first time. I liked it a lot this time. I'm rewatching Sancha Sanyo, which is actually one of the first anime I ever watched. I like it a lot more than I mean. I appreciate it. I feel like I liked it back then, but I also like it now. And there's a lot of stuff I can appreciate about it now that there's no way I could have appreciated back then. Um, I'm rewatching some stuff. I'm watching some new stuff. It doesn't really matter which anime I'm watching that aren't Precure. I'm not going to get into detail about that, but anyway, you're not going to see a big Precure video. This is the big Precure video. Precure is kind of bad. Just in summation, it's not really a magical girl show in the way that I imagine what a magical girl show is. It's much closer to a tokusatsu show, and it's not a very good tokusatsu show. If you want to watch a tokusatsu show, you should just watch Kamen Rider, because Kamen Rider is really fucking good. Maybe I've been spoiled by how good Kamen Rider is, and I can't go back to shittier tokusatsu, but that's the case. Kamen Rider is that good. Anyway, that's the end of this video.